If you have ever felt like you are literally giving it your all, you're being productive, you have great success, you're showing up, but it still feels like at the end of the day that you are not doing enough, then first I want you to know that you are not alone. This is actually something that a lot of successful women go through and a lot of successful women experience. I want to give you some context as to why, but most importantly, I want to give you some practical tools and some strategies that you can use. In fact, I'm going to teach you a mindset shift that I call 3R: rest, reimagine, realign, and I think it's going to genuinely benefit you so you can finally stop giving life 100% of all that you have and not seeing a return on your investment. Hey y'all, what's up? My name is Coach Cassidy and I'm super excited just to bring to you something that's really close to my heart today. In fact, it's something that I experienced. I remember when I first started my coaching practice, I was still working my 9 to 5. And on top of that, I had a part-time job at my local church. I mean, literally, I was a healthcare director. I had about like 30 direct reports that would report to me, all of the things that come with corporate healthcare. I was part-time at my church, leading a team of volunteers. Absolutely loved the ministry that I was in, but I was also trying to grow a business. Hello, new time entrepreneurs. I'm wearing all of the hats. I was stretching myself thin. But you want to know the worst part about it is that when I went home at night and I laid my head on my pillow, I still felt like God wasn't proud of me. I still felt like this is not enough. I have to do more. I have to go harder. I'm lazy. I was telling myself all of these things, and I want to share with you the mindset shift and the strategies, the practical things that I put into place that literally allowed me to break that cycle of giving it my all, but still feeling like it's not enough. In fact, I'm currently working with a beautiful client right now. Her name is Jasmine. Jasmine is in her mid-30s, and she is a very successful salon owner, hairstylist. She's been in the game for many years. She has her own product line. Literally, everyone would look at Jasmine and we'd be like, okay, girl, I see you, boo. Right? Like, we would be so proud of her. But when she came to me, she just kept saying, I feel stuck. I literally feel like this is not enough. Like, I am not giving it my all. Like, I have to go harder. This isn't going to get me to where I want to be. I feel stuck. I feel like this isn't good enough. And I want to share with you some things that can really help you out, because I know it's just not Jasmine. I know it's just not me. I know it's many of you out there watching. First of all, let's highlight a psychological danger here. Something that I call silent pain. Silent pain is when the external accomplishments mask an internal discontent, fulfillment, and burnout. Let me say that slow. That means when life is showing that you are successful and everyone is clapping for you and they're applauding for you, that hinders your ability to vocalize something's not right. That hinders your ability to say, I feel like I got to stop doing this so I can get to the things that God is calling me to do. That's a silent pain. And silent pain is very dangerous for several reasons. One of the reasons is that it's very difficult to articulate, and oftentimes you don't give it voice and you don't give it language. One of the reasons why you don't give it voice and language is because it can really blur the lines between ungratefulness. You don't want to sound like you're ungrateful. Right? You're very thankful for all that you've been able to achieve and the path that you've been able to walk. But you just got to be honest and say, why do I keep showing up, giving it my all, but leave at the end of the day feeling empty, feeling like it's not worth anything, feeling like it's not the thing that I want to do anymore? The second danger is that there's really not a lot of safe spaces for you to show up. It's not a lot of like-minded women, or it's not a lot of people who will understand when you speak. So therefore, you don't always get the best advice. It's a very dangerous symptom, but let me tell you something. You are going to have to speak up. Don't let silent pain stay silent. And I'm not sharing this with you because I want you to go out and tell your business to the whole wide world. I want you to be honest with yourself, right? Vulnerability and honesty and awareness, literally calling it out so that you know that it's there, is the first step for sure, right? Think about silent pain as if it was a bucket, a beautiful bucket that you're filling with water, and you're pouring water in there, but the bucket has a hole in it. Beautiful bucket, wonderful flow of water, but there's a hole in this bucket. That's your silent pain. And that's what we have to address. There are 3 common terms and 3 struggles that women who are very successful will often feel like they are still not giving their all. They're still not doing enough, and there's still more. They have this mentality that they got to go harder. There are 3 common terms and 3 obvious struggles that I really want to share with you. Now, this is where I tell you to lean in a little bit, because you may feel like, Cassidy, I heard those terms before. You're not saying anything new. And that's just your brain tricking you and causing you to overlook something that could really be beneficial. Those 3 common struggles that women who are successful and give a lot and are high productive, but still feel like something's off in their life and they're not doing the things that God's called them to do, or that what they're putting out there is not enough and they're starting to tell themselves to go harder. 3 things that you're going to see amongst them is, number 1, burnout. Number 2, imposter syndrome. And number 3, the fear of failure. Again, terms we have all heard of, but I want to break them down to you a little bit more. Burnout, exerting a lot of energy, but not having a system of replenish. It is when you are going on overload and you're not running off of passion and purpose. You are literally showing up in a space and it feels like heavy duty, hard work, and you just can't continue to push yourself. That causes stress, that causes fatigue, and that leads to burnout. And oftentimes when you are successful, you have the responsibility to keep going, or you have the eyes watching that are depending on you to keep going. And it's very easy to hit burnout when you're running off of very little passion and no purpose and no alignment. Imposter syndrome. When you feel like the success is undeserving. Now, a lot of people hear imposter syndrome and they automatically think, oh, that's when an individual feels like a fraud. And they don't often take time to expand the symptom a little bit more. Imposter syndrome also comes into play here is because you begin to resent the success that you have, right? You don't necessarily desire it anymore. While everyone is still cheering for you and clapping for you and praising you for all that you do, there is a part of you, a big, strong internal part of you that is like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. I don't enjoy this, right? And so you start to feel like, what if that part of me gets exposed? And then literally they will learn that I've been faking this whole time. And so imposter syndrome is also very common amongst women who are consistently showing up, being productive, leading teams, leading their homes, raising their children, being creative, being logical, scaling businesses, like literally high successful women. But still, they feel like imposters because they know that something's not in alignment, something is off. And then the third symptom that is a common term that we all know, but still shows up here, is the fear of failure. Fear of failure is a psychological barrier that prevents you from taking risk. It keeps you safe. It keeps you doing the same thing every single day over and over again, because you begin to tell yourself that whatever risk is out there when it comes to making changes, I am not equipped to take it. I fear that I am going to fail, especially when I have some things that are already going very well for me. So let me just stay put. Let me not make any changes chances. Let me not take any risk, and let me just hold on to the life that I have right now, regardless of what I'm beginning to sense in my soul. Let's go back to my own personal story. When I first started my coaching practice, y'all, I really didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I had a passion. I just knew I wanted to help women. I knew I wanted to serve them and love on them and equip them for life. I had a lot of learning to go through when it came to it, though. And so really, those were the days where I was grinding, I was hustling, I was reading, I was learning, I was networking, I was showing up, I was doing everything that I can, literally from sun up to sundown. I never gave myself rest 7 days a week because I really wanted my business to thrive. I really wanted to put out there. But I used to tell myself all the time, Cassidy, you are so lazy. You are not doing enough. I didn't feel like I was doing enough. I didn't feel like it was good enough. I didn't feel like success would ever be mine. I didn't feel like God was proud of me. I didn't feel like I was accomplished. I didn't see the fruits of my labor yet. I just did not enjoy it. And so I used to come up with a strategy. Girl, you're going to have to be disciplined. You're going to have to work harder. You're going to have to show up 2 times greater. Like that was the only plan I could come up with. Go harder, try harder, be more disciplined. And I had to finally sit down again and think about, what's the outcome that I want for my life? What am I trying to build here? Who do I want to become here? And I had to lead with a lot of those questions so that I wouldn't find myself on this journey that I would one day resent. Side note, if you are listening to this and you are also a woman who is in a helping profession, maybe you are a life coach or a social worker or a therapist or just in ministry or lead an amazing team, let me tell y'all something. Make sure that you are always checking the narrative and the definition, right? Because I was telling myself I was lazy, but what does that mean? I was telling myself that I wasn't successful, but what's my definition of success? Give me a narrative of what success would look like for you in your life. It's important that you are always checking the narrative, and it's important that you are always checking the definition when communicating with people. You never want to assume that you understand, because for me, lazy meant wasn't making a lot of money in my business. Okay, girl, you just started, right? For me, success meant that it would have been easy for me, but I was doing all the things. Well, girl, you're just getting started. You're learning. So definitely make sure that you're checking the narrative and that you're checking the definitions, because I literally always ask my clients, can you explain that for me? Can you share a little bit deeper? Can you give me a story about a time where you felt this way? Can you define that role for me? I understand it, but I would love to hear it from your lens. Like, always dive deeper. And the reason why you are diving and digging deeper is because you want to expose the root. Before you can examine the fruit, you have to first examine the roots. And so when people share their why, their reasoning, their understanding, and their beliefs with you, that allows you to dig a little bit deeper and see those roots. So let's dig a little bit deeper in this moment. Let's truly try to figure out, why is it that you are showing up in motherhood, showing up in career, showing up in leadership, in your community, in business, in your homes, with all that God has given you, and you're showing up full and 100% giving it your all, but still not feeling like it's enough? Here's where the coaching begins. Coaching point number 1. I don't know why I said it like that. Doing more doesn't mean progress. Doing more does not mean progress. Just because you are doing more of the same thing doesn't mean you are getting ahead. In life, you are going to have to do different things in order to have a different outcome. This is what I need you to know. So just because it was successful for you in the past does not mean that it is going to be successful for you moving forward. You probably feel stuck and you have probably hit a wall, but you're continuing to do the same thing and the same thing and the same thing because it got you results 3 years ago, but it's not getting you results now. You're beginning to feel burnt out. You're beginning to feel like you are an imposter, as if you're faking it. You're beginning to feel like you can't make make any changes because you're telling yourself, if I just keep doing this, if I just keep doing this over and over and over again, then finally the results will come. But I'm here to tell you, just because you are doing more of the same thing does not mean that you are making progress. More of the same is just more of the same. You're going to have to make some changes. Your solution cannot be just to try harder. I'll try again next time. Newsflash, baby, and I don't mean no disrespect, but we are not second graders. This is not the spelling bee. This is your life, and it's your real life. It's not dress rehearsal. Like, we don't get to try again some other time. So if there was ever a moment for you to make a change, now would be the time for you to make change, right? So the solution has to be, how can I think differently? How can I manage differently? How can I shift things around? How can I make changes? And we'll get more into that. One of the most beautiful things that I get to do in my work is that I get to really help women go from survival mode to a level of significance. It's the thing that I absolutely love the most in my coaching practice. And what most people don't realize is that survival mode is a very reactive mode. That's actually one of the most obvious ways that I can tell someone's in survival mode. It doesn't mean how much money they have or if they have a roof over their head. It literally means that if life is managing them or if they are managing life. And so if you are in a position where all you can do is react, if all you can do is respond, if all you can do is just keep doing what life is telling you to do, and you are not able to really consider, take your time, plan well, think healthy, make decisions, then you are possibly in survival mode or in a new form state of stability, and you're scared to make changes. And so my goal is to help you and teach you within this video is that, hey, the reason why you're starting to feel stuck in success is because your current behaviors and habits, they're not going to get you to the next level. In fact, I tell my clients all the time, every single time you want to evolve to the next level, it's going to require a new mindset. Every single time you want to open a new door, you want to unlock the next level of your destiny, you want to transition to a higher level of living, it is going to literally require for you to adopt, accept, and believe deeply in a new form of thinking, because you can never, ever, ever, never perform inconsistent to your belief system. So whatever it is that you're believing about yourself, about life, about success, you have to question it. You have to look at it, and you have to shift where you can shift, because literally your mindset is the doorway to your destiny. So every time you're ready to go to the next level, I hope you're also ready to learn some new things and to believe in some new truths that can get you there. Coaching point number 2. Don't just do something, stand there. I don't know why when I said that, I thought it was going to be like, but I said it correctly. Don't just do something, stand there. How many of us have been taught, don't just stand there, do something? Well, what are you doing? Why are you so impulsive? Why are you so quick to run? Why are you so quick to respond? Why do you feel like you're the only one who has the answer? So let me just rush in and do it how I've always done it. Don't just do something, stand there. And when I say stand there, that's a metaphor for rest, pause, think critically. Most people are very weak in their ability to think. Myself included. I could probably work on my ability to think critically and to think things through. But I encourage you, if you are a woman who is like, hey, I'm doing so much, I'm showing up in all of these areas, but I still feel like I'm not doing enough, there is a hole in your bucket. Your water is leaking. And instead of just continuing to pour water, I'm asking you to please don't just do something, pause. Think about what you want to do next. Think about what's going to be your next move. Stand, take a rest. In fact, we're going to get to it, but that's the first step. Literally, rest. Time out. Something's not working well. You have to reconsider, what is my best next plan of action? What's going to be the best next step that I could take? Remember my client Jasmine that I shared with you about? Literally, Jasmine had an amazing and dynamic legacy dream that she was aiming to build. And she knew for a fact she wasn't going to get there by continuing to just do 5 clients, 6 clients, I don't know how many she really does in a day, hairstyle all day. She's not going to get there by having a booked out calendar where she just stands behind a chair and does hair all the time, right? So she literally had to say, let me take a little breather. Let me take a simple retreat, 2-3 days to myself, an hour every morning, whatever that needs to look like, so I can use my brain and think about what is the best next step that I can take for life. What is the greatest solution that I can come up with right now? What is it that I desire most for my life, and how can I build that right now? If these are questions that, especially as a woman of high value, especially as a woman with success, especially as a mother who's raising young children, a new wife who is leading her home, a corporate leader, an entrepreneur, especially as this creator, you should be consistently pausing and using your brain and thinking about, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I desire? How can I show up more for myself? Don't just do something, because every time you show up just to do something, you are continually doing the repetitive actions that you have always taken. Your brain literally can't come up with anything else. So you have gotten just really good at managing life the same way that you always have, that anything outside of that feels foreign, feels like a risk, feels like it's impossible, feels like it's not something you can do. So you anchored yourself to about 5 or 10 habits, and you are doing them over and over and over and over and over again. And guess what? It's a system. And because you have now developed a system, you are getting the same results over and over and over and over and over again. And you wonder why it feels like it's not enough. Because at some point in time, your work and your purpose have gotten misaligned. They are no longer the same. So your soul is literally longing for new. But based on your mindset, your habits, your behaviors, and what expectations you yourself or society have put on you, you feel like you can't change. So you continue to show up in that area. Not good. And I get it. As humans, we don't want to contradict our status quo, right? We want to keep things comfortable. But life is not about comfortable. It's about courage. And here is my third coaching tip. Life, baby, is not about doing it all. It's about being in alignment with who you are created to be. Now, no matter where you are in your spiritual development, no matter what it is that you believe, I have to tell you that this truth is a truth. And the more you grow closer to it, the more you will understand what Cassidy is saying right now. But this life that you are currently living, it is not about how much money you can make. It's not about how many people you can impress. It's not about if you can follow the plan and the path that your mama set before you. It is literally about if you can step into alignment with who you were created to be. There is a purpose, there is a calling, there's an assignment, there's a necessity on your life, and it is all about getting into alignment with that. And the reason why my client Jasmine felt stuck, the reason why I felt all over the place and lazy, the reason why you feel like you are not enough is because literally you're starting to realize that I am not in alignment with who I was created to be. You're starting to realize that this was just supposed to be a part of the journey. It was not supposed to be the destination. You're starting to realize that I'm showing up way more for so many other people, and I'm very limited in what I'm doing for myself. And that is the feeling of not enough. That is the feeling of discontent, because baby girl, you know that you are enough. Hear me and hear me good. If you never do another thing, you were created already wonderfully, beautifully, amazing. You don't have to show up and prove that you are enough. You are enough. But the question is, why are you not in alignment? Ooh, I bet you didn't think we were going to go here, but we are. Because it's really not a matter about external output. It really is a matter about internal alignment. You don't achieve success by doing it all. You reach success by being in alignment with your purpose. So how did I support my client, Jasmine? I helped her to think outside of the box that had gotten her to where she was. I taught her new skills about how to communicate, how to delegate, strengthen her leadership, empowered her voice. I taught her a new system, new ways, new energy that she can put out that would get her a higher return on her investment. I taught her how to reimagine the status quo. And that is what I want to help you do. Okay, so let's get super practical. This is now a life coaching session. You have left a YouTube video. You are now in a life coaching session. I want to get very practical with you. I want to give you actual play-by-play methods that you need to apply right now. Grab a pen, grab a notebook, grab your favorite journal, literally write it down. Don't think that this is something that you can do on your own or in your head. I encourage you not even to put this into your phone. Old school it out. Hard write paper and pen so that you can make sure that you are literally not skipping a step. The first thing I want you to be able to do is I want you to be able to clearly articulate your silent pain for success, your silent pain of your success. What is the silent pain that you are currently carrying, or that you are not sharing, that you are not speaking about? What is the thing that is causing you to feel like this isn't enough? It's causing you to have disconnect. It's causing you to feel unfulfilled. It's causing you to have burnout or fear of failure or feel like an imposter. We have to give voice to it. We have to expose it. It's like a GPS, right? I would never, ever, ever, never get to my final destination if I can't first articulate my starting point. So I want you to articulate your starting point. What is the pain? We cannot help and we cannot fix what we cannot identify. So this is not a step that you can skip. So number one, be able to know and to articulate what is your silent pain. Number two may be the most important. I don't know. I'm probably going to say that about all the steps. All of them come with a very high level of importance. But number two is I then want you to be able to jot down every thought and every emotion that you have when it comes to success. This is a mental, emotional audit on yourself. What does success mean to you? What does it feel like to you when you hear the word? What discomfort does it bring? What constant thoughts does pop up in your head? What is your level of success? I'm very honest with y'all, right? I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I'm from the hood. Like, let me just go ahead and say it straight. Sometimes I try to articulate it very well and say that I come from an underprivileged neighborhood, but baby, I'm from the hood, okay? And so I very much so grew up with a very distorted way of thinking about success. And the way that I used to think about success is I used to always feel like success was doing too much. Right? If you had nice money, if you had nice things, if you lived in a nice home, if you had a college degree, then that was called doing too much in my head. You just doing too much. And I literally always, now that I'm a mature woman who has a college degree, who's doing fairly well for myself, I have this discomfort that I'm doing too much. And guess where it showed up? It showed up in my business, because now charging a certain price is called doing too much in my mind. Oh my goodness. I could go through so many mindsets with you right now about success. In fact, let's list a few of them. Some people believe I have to work twice as hard and that's when I get success. So if it comes easily, it's not success. But if I grind and hustle and strive and beg and plead, then I'll be worthy of success. Other people feel like I can't ask for help because asking for help is weakness. And the moment I'm not able to prove that I can do it all by myself, then I failed myself. And so I'm not going to ask for help. And that's how I'll achieve success. Some people have put a time stamp on success and they literally believe that it's too late. So why would I now try? I'm 47, I'm 52, I'm 68, I'm 73, I'm 25. Why would I now go back to school? Why would I now go after my dreams? Why would I make shifts and changes in my life now? It's just too late. I grew up with an understanding that you were to be able to achieve a certain standard of life by the age of 30. And because I'm now 34, it's too late for me. So success is far out of reach. Let me just change my plans and my destiny and my ideas and my desires. Let me just hold on and keep doing the things that I'm doing right here, right now, because this is somebody else's success. So I'll just take this, even though I feel like it's not enough. Now, I know I'm sounding crazy, but this is literally mindsets. These are beliefs. These are narratives. These are definitions of words that you're accepting. Some people believe that if they don't surpass everyone, they're in competition. If they don't surpass everyone doing all of the things, then they have not reached success. So literally now they have a million things going for themselves just because they're trying to prove that at the end, when it's all said and done, I'm going to come out on the top. I'm going to come out as number one. And that's what I believe about success. Other people believe that success has a certain look to it, a certain tone to it, a certain language, a certain way you carry yourself. And so they are literally fighting to uphold the standard of looking successful. They are literally walking out this status quo of what they believe success is, even though it feels wrong, even though it feels like it's not enough, even though it's misaligned with who God's called them to be. But because they learned that success has a certain look, they now have to uphold a certain standard. So I want you to make sure that you don't skip the step of doing your own personal, mental, and emotional audit. When you hear success, what does that feel like? When you think about all the work that you're putting out there, critically take a moment to rest and ponder, what am I saying to myself at the end of the night about this work? It's not good enough. Well, I don't have a master's degree, so I shouldn't applaud myself here. What are you really telling yourself about the work that you do? What are you saying? What is the narrative? What are the definitions? List out all of the thoughts and list out all of the emotions that are tied to what you think success is and what you believe success, how success shows up for you or what it feels like. And any other key terms that come to mind when you're doing this mental and emotional audit. To take it a step further, I would encourage you to even grab a spouse, a best friend, a sister, someone that you can really trust, and do this step too with them. Do this in connection and collaboration with someone else. What it's going to do is it's going to really make you sit in the moment, and it's going to cause you not to wander or to get sidetracked, because we can do that when we by ourselves, right? So I encourage you to, hey, grab a partner, grab a friend, and ask them to complete their own mental and emotional audit with any concept, right? We're talking about success here and why you think your level of success is not enough, or why you continue to show up giving your all to work that is misaligned with the calling that God's placed on your life. So we have to do some digging. We have to do some exploring. And I encourage you just to make sure that you truly get to the root of it, that you partner with someone that's going to make you stay in that moment. Okay. So step one, I want you to make sure that you are defining your silent pain. And step two, I want you to make sure that you're doing an audit on what this all feels like for you and what you think about all of this. Step three is I want to challenge you. One of the most powerful yet simple things my business coach taught me early on when I first started out in my business. She said, what is the end goal? Like literally, this is so simple, but it stuck with me. She said, Cassidy, what is the end goal? What is the desired outcome? What is it that you hope to achieve? Then just build that. It seems simple, but you do not understand how we begin to do this mental work that, okay, well, I got to do this first, and then I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna do that. And by that time I have enough this, so then that'll work itself out. And then I just be able to come around and do this. No, ma'am, cut the middleman. Whatever it is that you desire, just do that. So step three is I don't want you to focus on all of the work that you're currently doing, all of the titles that you're currently holding, because we think about that nonstop. We wake up with running to-do lists. Okay, I need to send this email. I need to call this girl. I need to get that ready for a class. I need to make sure that the kids have this. Like we wake up 24/7 thinking about our current reality and the current work that we are doing. I'm telling you, wait, hello. Instead of thinking about the work that you're currently doing, shift your perspective. Think consistently about the work you desire to see done. Think about it. And then tell me what's required for that. I know it sounds simple, but when you really sit down and you think about the calling that God has placed on your life, when you really sit down and you think about the legacy that you want to build, when you really compare your definition of success and all of the things that you are calling current pains, then let's just figure out what is the desired end goal. What is it that you hope to achieve? What is the final outcome on life? And just give. I am challenging you to 1 full hour. No cell phone, no music playing in the background, no best friend, no nothing, literally 0 distractions, just you and your brain. And I say, give yourself 1 hour. That instead of thinking about all that you are currently doing, because if you get caught up in that world, guess what you're going to keep doing? That world. And think about, hey, what am I trying to aim to get to? And what would be the best path to get there? Because I told you that I was going to teach you about a strategy, a mindset shift called 3R: rest, reimagine, realign. Anytime a woman comes to me and she says, Cassidy, I'm doing X, I'm doing Y, I'm doing Z, I'm doing them well, I'm giving my all, I have intention, but it's just not good enough. Then I'm going to respond with, okay, let's rest. Let's reimagine some things so that we can realign. Rest is very simple. Take a break, take a pause, right? We've already talked about this step, and I genuinely want you to be able to do that. And if this is something that feels very foreign or uncomfortable, I'm going to encourage you to implement the 3R system consistently over time, that you have a weekly strategy to rest, reimagine, and realign. Reimagine is probably one of the most important steps and probably the hardest, but you can't necessarily reimagine until you really know what you're trying to get aligned with. So that may require some deeper purpose work. But when you know exactly what your desired outcome is, I want to challenge you to take leaps of faith towards it versus baby steps. We as a society have literally been trained to only accept slow, steady, gradual progress towards a thing. So when we see someone who just leaps bounds, we feel like they cheated. We feel like they're doing something random. But no, ma'am, you probably can show up differently. I taught my client Jasmine how to show up differently. I taught her how to use her voice and say different things to get different results. I literally exposed new levels of her leadership that she wasn't tapping into, that literally made her leave work on Friday and walk in on Monday completely different and getting different results, because she reimagined what is going to take or what she can do to get her back realigned. So it's not that you have to uproot your whole life and throw it all in the trash. I'm just telling you, why do you have to do it that way? Why do you have to send certain emails? Why do you have to follow this certain system? Why can't you just switch it all up and reimagine new steps? Right? Have you ever seen someone struggling to solve a problem and you're looking at them like, girl, why are you doing it like that? And it's like they literally do it seven different steps to get this one result. And you just walk over and show them one simple way of reimagining how they could have got that result. That's what I want you to do with your life. But you have to know where is it that you are headed. I literally am in the midst of doing that right now in my coaching practice. I took a hard pause over the last calendar year. And I really just took a few clients under the radar. And the reason why I did that is because I began to see that this is not what I want to build. This is not the direction that I want my life to go in. And I have to take some time to rest. I have to take some time to know that I know what I'm trying to get in alignment with. And then two, I have to reimagine my path forward. Because I don't need to accept all of the discomfort that my past has given me. I don't have to accept the societal norms that life has placed on me. I get to reimagine this thing called life, and I get to set myself up for success. So I'm telling you, there's a hole in your bucket. It is your silent pain. It is leaking out your water. And where you could have a bucket full of joy, you feel empty at the end of the night. I am challenging you to really use your imagination and what could be different in your life. Why do you have to work there, that way, that time, that place? Can your schedule shift? Can things change? Can you delegate more to your children? How can you take leaps in life versus baby steps? That's what I want you to look at it. Life coaching is all about shifting perspective. It's all about teaching you new ways to think. And I have to get you to think differently. I have to get you to understand what is it that you're even thinking and feeling about success, right? Because we know that you're enough. We know that your work is successful. We know that it's getting results. We know that people are cheering for you and they're applauding for you, but we have to discover why it feels like it's not good enough. Are you misaligned with what God's called you to do? Are you outside of his word, his will, and his way? Are you doing things that just don't make sense? Have you said yes to things you should have said no to? Like, what is it? Are you doing things little by little because that's what you learned about success? Or are you just going to jump up one day and say, you know what? I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be courageous. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to switch things up. I'm going to be the creator. I don't have to always be the good girl. Like, I'm going to just change things around, get new results, and go after my purpose. Rest, reimagine, realign. Okay? So to my busy, beautiful entrepreneur who's working a 9 to 5, to my dynamic corporate leader who is leading teams, to my multi-passionate mama who's raising her sweet babies and trusting God for her business to grow, for the community leader and career woman who is scaling up the ladder. Like, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something that you need to adopt in your mindset today. Life is not about how much you can manage, how much you can endure, how much you can prove. Life is about being in alignment with who God has called you to be. Everything has to become obedient for you to walk that path effectively. I challenge you, I double dare you to get you some rest, to reimagine the possibilities, and to make sure that you can be in alignment. Additionally, I close with these final remarks. If for any reason you've just watched this whole video and it hasn't inspired anything, you still clicked on it for a purpose. And I want to once again remind you that you are enough. Here's a truth that will transcend all achievements. You are inherently worthy just simply because you exist. Your value isn't tied to the roles that you play, the accolades that you collect, or the to-do list that you conquer. You are worthy because God created you. I challenge you to live your life to the fullest. Maximize every single potential and don't be afraid to take risk. Bye.